As the war around Aleppo continues, this is a rare glimpse of one of the few hospitals close to the besieged part of the city which has not been hit, with underground wards to escape the bombing. Tox, a British aid volunteer, has given News at 10 a vivid portrait of the horror and bravery endured by people and doctors here.
You're going to get to see what it's like to be in a real working hospital here in Syria, how under-resourced we are, what life's like, what some of these heroes that we call doctors actually go through. The majority of the casualties in Hospital X, and most of the hospitals here in Syria are women and children.
The hospital is close to the eastern part of Aleppo, which is completely cut off. Many here have been injured in ongoing airstrikes by the Syrian government and their Russian allies. An elderly man has been brought in with a critical serious abdominal injury in an alleged cluster bomb attack which killed his son.
So they're saying that they need to rush him to A&E for operation straight away, and they need to open his stomach up because he's got internal bleeding. It's a very serious injury, and he's high risk because of his age.
His condition was so bad that he had to be transported to the Turkish border, as he could not be treated by any hospital in Aleppo. We learnt later that he fell into a coma. From an elderly man to a 1-year-old girl, the victims span all ages. The windows of Shifa's home were blown in by a bomb blast, and she was cut as she crawled across the glass.
Okay, so it's boiling hot right now. We've just seen a little girl being brought in. Thankfully, another small injury, but it's always distressing to see children.
This young boy, Mahmoud, is lucky to be alive. An airstrike close to his home caused the ceiling to collapse on him. Again and again, Tox describes serious injuries that can't be treated because of a lack of supplies and equipment. He's been brought in with what could be a serious head injury, yet there is no scanning equipment, only the most basic X-ray, with the X-ray plate having to be held up by Mahmoud's father.
That is really, really heartbreaking, because how can you tell the extent of the injury?
Tox shows a former NHS ambulance donated by a British charity.
This was ex-NHS. Look. NHS.co.uk. For all of those people that say that these ambulances are not being put to use, this is where they're being used, and we need more because we're losing them every single day.
But the NHS ambulances arrive without critically needed equipment.
When they come from the UK, they're stripped out. They don't have the equipment that we need. This man, he's had a very, very serious operation. He should be on a ventilator right now. He should be having assisted breathing. There should be many pieces of equipment in case he goes into cardiac arrest.
Tox asks one of the doctors why he continues to stay when hospitals like this one are being targeted.
من سيساعد المرضى؟ من سيساعد الجرحى؟ نحن جئنا نحن من هنا. نحن أطباء، مهنتنا إنسانية.
ولا تخاف من الموت؟
لا نخاف من الموت ولا من القصف.
It is physically and emotionally draining work in searing heat, with little or no time to rest. And then suddenly it starts again,
There's been a chlorine attack not far from here.
with reports of another attack using chlorine gas.
So we're just getting ready to evacuate.
But eventually another hospital receives the wounded from the attack, and the evacuation is called off. Another example of the extreme daily crises faced by hospitals in Aleppo and across Syria.